y'all, it's Michelle from Cozyegg, and this is episode 126. Today is Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. So happy spring equinox, happy Astara, happy new moon. Here we are again. So if you are new here, thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you will find something that appeals to you and you'll stick around. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And yeah, this is a channel primarily about cross stitch. I also talk about books and other random bits of life, etc. I do intersperse my talking portions with some vlog clips, so you get a little taste of, you know, kind of the day-to-day stuff that goes on. So anyway, so here we are. It is now almost all the way through March. My last video was around the 8th of February. And yeah, I'm here. I'm here now. So, and I'm wearing my new blood milk necklace that says Endless Night. This is part of their library collection. This was my Christmas gift, which I'm very excited about. So it arrived since I saw you last, and I have it on with my night creature and my Time is a Phoenix hourglass. So every time you see me, I'm just gonna have more more jewels on, as it should be, correct? All right, so my cat is now eating this bag down here. Okay, so March. So obviously February was a super busy month. I say obviously, you don't know that, but February was a very busy month for me. One of the things that I think I've talked about previously is that I'm heavily involved with my needlework guild, Tudor Rose Sampler Guild, and Eric and I manage the website for the guild, as well as all of the email accounts for the board, the Facebook stuff, all of that. So yeah. And we had our changeover from the 2022 board to the 2023 board during February. And so we had training that we had to do. We had some updates that we had to do, getting mailboxes, you know, email boxes sort of taken back from the old members, you know, cleared out and created, you know, set up for the new board members, all that good stuff. So it was a lot. It was a lot. But we have a new board now. Some people stayed on, some people switched positions, some people came in new. So it's exciting. It's always exciting when you have a change in the board, because I think it gives you some new energy, it gives you some new insights, and yeah, it's exciting. So that was kind of my February, was dealing with a lot of guild stuff, like behind the scenes stuff, not the fun stuff, but the behind the scenes stuff. So I spent a good amount of time working on that. Also, so market happened, which is always exciting for us stitchers, and seeing the new things that come out. And I don't know about you, but I like to see, you know, the photos from market to see how each of the designers kind of sets up their room and how they display everything. And I just kind of find that interesting. So Tut is here with me. He's chewing on his toenails. So apologies if you can hear that. But this is how we roll here. So anyway, I love seeing the photos of how, you know, everyone sets up their rooms. You know, Blackbird, of course, is one that I always look forward to because, you know, Barb and Alma always had kind of, you know, such a penchant for how, you know, they laid everything out and displayed everything. And so I was a little sad, you know, not to see that this year, but there was still some really good, you know, displays, which was kind of fun. So of course, I think I talked in my last video that I might be a little partial, but Sylvia, running with needles and scissors, had some beautiful, beautiful market releases for her first market. One of those was Beloved, which I just absolutely adore and cannot wait to stitch. One of those also was Isabella Lee with the little angels. Love that one too. So that one is on my list to stitch as well. And then there were a few other things. Little Robin had a chart that she called The Coming of the Birdmen, I think. The Birdman Cometh, I think is it. And it was on that Aztec red fabric, and it's just like this crazy, you know, fever dream kind of piece. But I absolutely love it. From the first moment that she showed it to me, I fell in love with it, with like that hot pink bunny that looks like he's got, you know, electricity around him, and the pomegranate in the middle with the two birds. The whole thing is just phenomenal. So that is on my to stitch list as well. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And I would love to hear what some of your favorites from market were as well. What things you picked up, what things you're excited about, and what you've already started stitching on. So the other fun thing that I did was, you know, I think I've talked before that I have been still, you know, very cautious about going back out into the world after, you know, initial lockdown, etc. I have still been very cautious about going out because I've not had COVID. I do not intend to get COVID. And so we're trying to keep it that way. But I do recognize that, you know, I need to start venturing out a little bit more than I have been. So an opportunity came up recently where it was the Oscars. And there's one of it, you know, I love movies, love, you know, all of that. And it has long been one of my kind of favorite nights of the year next to Halloween. So some friends of mine and I, the past few years, had been getting together and having an Oscar watch party. You know, that night, my friend Marty comes in, flies in from Boston, and there is another friend that comes in from the Northeast as well, and then some local folks. So you know, it's a really good time. We get to enjoy each other and, you know, have snacks and wear tiaras and watch the Oscars and the red carpet and comment on people's outfits, all that good stuff. And of course, we didn't do it in 2020 or 2021 or 2022. So, this was the first year that we decided to get back together and have our Oscar party. And so I decided that it was going to be a small group of people in someone's home. I felt like that was a reasonable way to dip my toe back into being social. So I decided to go, and I had a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that I went. It was really nice to see everyone. And, I have to be honest with you that the past couple of years, I don't want to say I was disappointed with the Oscars, but I just felt sort of disenchanted with them. I'll put it that way. And so, I was kind of, I wanted to go, and I wanted to, have the enjoyment of the company and of course watch the red carpet, but I was a little sort of about the Oscars themselves. But I have to say that this year it was really good. I think some of the things from previous years, that had really bothered me, I think didn't happen, this time. And it just seemed like, I don't know, I don't even know how to put it into words, but it just seemed like kind of a brand new beginning, and seeing some acknowledgement in areas that we haven't previously seen that it was really, really awesome. And I was super, super happy to see Brendan Fraser win. So, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But if you're like me, usually, which is I record it and then 6 to 9 months later, then I watch it. But hopefully you've seen it by now. But anyway, so it was a great night. I had a good time. I enjoyed the Oscars. I enjoyed the red carpet. So yeah. So that's pretty much what's been up with me, other than, work and the usual. And the other thing I wanted to say is, as I was sort of watching back some of my video clips that I have put in the past few videos, I realized it sure looks like I bake a lot because it seems like I'm constantly making cakes or cookies or some such nonsense. But when Eric's mother died at the end of 2021, we started doing dinners with his dad and his sister every week. And we switch off, if it's at our house or at their house. But typically when I am baking, it is because we are having dinner here and I am baking for dinner. And Eric does the cooking, so you never see any clips of that, but you only see me baking. But I started looking at that going, that's a whole lot of baking that I'm showing. But anyway, and there's more for you to see this time. But anyway, yeah, good stuff. So I think that's all of my, jibber jabber. So we'll kind of dive into what I have to show you today. So I want to show you what I've worked on. I want to show you some plans that I have. And then we're going to talk about, I promised that I would show you as part of my FFO plan for 2023. I would show you my bag of things that need to be FFO'd. So last time I showed you everything that needed to be framed. This time I'm going to show you my bag of stuff that needs to be FFO'd. So, all right, let's get to it. So I'm going to move these and we'll just jump right in here. So primarily, no surprise, I have been focusing on working on Jane Anne 1871, which is the Bristol sampler that I am reproducing. And so here's where I'm at. She's coming right along. This right here represents the bottom of the second row of pages in the chart. So there's 4 rows of pages. So this is officially the halfway mark right here. I have finished all of the alphabets. I have finished all of the numbers and the Roman numerals, and now I'm into the motifs. So as you can see, I just have a little bit more here, and then I'll be done with that second row of pages and I can move on to row 3. I am stitching this on 56 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit, and I am using a Soie Surfine silk from Verissois in kind of a muted red because I wanted it to look a little faded. And I'm really loving how it's looking. I'm really enjoying working on her. I wish I could, speed it up a little bit, but what you gonna do? So that is primarily what I have been working on. I keep my chart tucked in up here. I just put my chart up there at the top with my needle minder, holding it on there, and that way I don't have to keep flipping back and forth. So that, like I said, that's primarily what I've been working on. I do have a deadline for that, and I'm trying very hard to make it to that deadline. So that has been my focus. Also, since then, since I saw you last, I worked on, we had 2 13s, February 13th and March 13th. So for dark 13 stitching, I worked on Tombstone Spots, which is an out of print chart by the Primitive Needle. And I started this last year on Friday the 13th with Emily from Eclectic Possessions. We started this together. And so I worked on this the past 2 dark 13 stitching times. So here's where I'm at. I'm stitching this with the called for weeks threads on 40 count Affogato by Fiber on a Whim. I just thought it was perfect, and it has a lot of this green modeling in it, which I thought was perfect. It gave it kind of a mossy tombstone look, which is great. And so many of the threads and the motifs are in this sort of olive green, this mossy green. So it just works. I think it's great. So since you saw it last time, I'm trying to think where I was, but I think I got this willow tree done and this motif, and then I did this the Tombstone Angel and the 1781 and the 2 stars. Now I stitched this 1781 twice. once in the wrong place and then once in the right place. So, yeah. But I'm very happy with it. I love how it looks. Love it. Love it, love it. And I'm very excited to have gotten a little farther on this. Here are the threads, just so that you can see those. So you can see it's all these mossy greens and these, the charcoal and bark, and then this beautiful curry color interspersed with these like bright kind of pistachio greens. Just really, really pretty. So those are the two things that I've been working on, and that's it. That's all I got. So, but I have kitted up a couple of things, so I wanted to show you that, because that is not something I normally do, but I did. So, love these vintage owl lady bags. My Tombstone Spots is in one as well. It's in this Luna Moth bag. And then I have this one, which is sort of my Halloween bag. I think Emily showed one and I was like, oh, I gotta have that. So, yeah. So in here, hopefully I grabbed the right bag. I have 2 more model stitches that I need to stitch. And these are my own designs. So 2 years ago, I released this piece for the participants for Dark October Seance, which was the little gathering that we had at the end of October. And so I released this as, you know, a chart for those attendees. So I'm going to be, I need to stitch the model for this, and then I will be releasing this to everyone as soon as I, you know, get the opportunity. And yeah, Eric's in there just talking, and so sorry. He gets to going. And then I'm also going to, I'm planning on releasing the one from last year this October, and so I need to stitch that one as well. You can just barely see those moon and stars up at the top there. So these 2 planchette designs I will be stitching and releasing. So I wanted to get some fabric and pull the threads for these, because obviously I did not do that, you know, before. I did not stitch them before I released them to the participants. So, so the Death's Head planchette that has the Death's Head moth on it in honor of Emily. I've got 2 different fabrics and I haven't really decided which one I might want to use, but I got Picture This Plus Ale in a 40 count, and then I also got Picture This Plus, I think this is Heritage, so I think I might go with this one. And then the threads for this, actually these may be threads for a mix of the 2 of them, but you'll get the picture. So here are some of the threads. So but I think think they'd be pretty on either fabric. So, and then the Beyond the Veil planchette, I'm actually thinking of doing on the same fabric that I used for my Cecropia moth. I just think that would be really pretty. And then the moons and the stars would show up, as well as the, you know, kind of the pale green of this wispy vapor. So I think I may use this little piece. This is 40 count Zweigart anthracite. So, and then somewhere I had, oh yeah, here's the rest of my threads. So I just had some of these in bags and some of them were brand new. So at some point I will get started on the model stitches for these, which I'm excited about. And I am excited to be able to release those. So look forward to that. And of course I will share my progress and everything as I go, so that you can kind of see how they're coming together. So I've kitted those up and have them ready to go whenever I'm ready to go. But I'm starting to get a little panicked about Jane Ann, so it may be a little while before I do those. And then the other thing that I kitted up is in my Mayflower bag that was gifted to me. So a sweet fellow stitcher recently finished this piece that has been on my bucket list forever. And I just always seem to miss it on eBay. So like I've had a notification forever, it seems like, but when she finished it, you know, I made some comment about the fact that I continuously seem to miss it on eBay, and so she offered to lend me her chart, which I jumped on. So this is an out of print chart. It's by the Needle Love Company, and it's called Ship of Life. And I just love this piece so much. I love the ship, I love the lighthouse, I love the moon and the stars in the center. I just love it. And there's two different colorways. There's a more brown colorway and there is a more gray colorway. And I just think it's fantastic. So it's all in DMC. And you know, it's just, I love it. So I decided, since she had lent it to me, I probably needed to go ahead and kit this baby up, and then maybe I can, you know, put some stitches in like in the mornings or something. So like I said, it's mostly DMC. So I have, most of my DMC is on bobbins, which I have a love-hate relationship with. Like, I love it as far as storing. It's so easy, you know, to just have them in those little boxes. I hate actually using them on the bobbins, because if you put them on like a thread ring, they just unwind, which I hate. So I purchased this little thread organizer thing on Etsy, and this is from Bags Plus. And I just loved the fabric because it had moths and spiders and bats and all those things that I love. So you can like put your chart or stuff in here. This is just a big pocket, and then you've got your little pockets for your for your DMC threads. So I'm going to give this a try and see how this works, but I think this is going to work fantastic. And you can see I actually have room for more than what I need in here, but I'm going to give this a shot. So here's most of the colors, and then I had to buy a couple more of the grays that I needed. So yeah, all set with that. And I looked around for fabric, and I finally decided on, what is this? I got it from Christine at Hollis Hands Create, as you can see, Hollis Hands Create on Etsy. And this is Flannel Flower by Fox and Rabbit 40 count. And I just thought this would be really pretty. Obviously the original is done on just like a plain ivory or a plain kind of natural, but I wanted something that had a little bit more variegation to it. And I wanted it to kind of look like, an old map or something, an old piece of parchment. And this is beautiful. I hadn't even taken it out of the package, but this is gorgeous. That's exactly what I wanted. So very happy with that. And I had to get fat quarter, I think, because of the length. So really excited about that. That is really pretty. So set to go on this whenever I feel like it. And it'll be fun to finally stitch this piece that I've wanted to stitch forever and ever. So I know this is so out of character for me. I'm usually like whips, but hey, a couple of model stitches and then, a bucket list stitch, all in. Okay. How about we take a little break, and I will insert my my vlog footage of kind of what I've been up to. You can take a look at that, and then when I come back, we will dive into the bag of stuff that needs to be FFO'd, because it's a lot. All right, I'll see you in a minute. I have a whole lot of stuff that needs to be FFO'd. A whole lot. I'm going to start with what is right in front of my face at the moment, kind of the loose things, and then we'll go from there. So the first thing is my Mabon piece from the Primitive Needle, Primitive Hair. I stitched this last year. As you can see, I have already sewn it and it is ready to be stuffed. This has literally been sitting like this on my desk for 5 months, maybe 6 months. I don't know. It sits like right underneath my monitor on my desk because I can't apparently be bothered to actually fill it with shells. So this is at the top of the list because I need this off my desk. That's the first thing. The second thing is another Primitive Hair piece. So I stitched two of the Primitive Hair pieces for a friend of mine, and one of them was the Yule piece. The other one was, and I finished it like this, the other one was this Astara piece. And I was finishing them into kind of big ornaments. So here's the back of it. These sort of, egg-shaped ornaments. And my plan was to do all of them for her. Well, we don't actually talk anymore. So I haven't been super motivated to finish this, but as you can see, I have pinned all of the cording around the edge. I need to sew that on and, attach the back, and then this will be done. So this is another stupid thing that I am 95% of the way there, and yet can't seem to get it done. So that is high on my list as well. I don't know what I will do with it when I'm finished. Maybe I'll send it along anyway, but it needs to be off my list. So then I have this little box. Let's see what's in here. I have some pieces of things that I wanted to make scissor fobs out of. I have a broken scissor fob that needs to be repaired. I have a broken bracelet that needs to be repaired. And then I have this. So I stitched this ornament for myself. This is Angel of Tulips. I think it's by the Good Housewife. I stitched this for myself. I don't know when. Obviously, I have it, ready to finish, ready to go. And I have made the cording for it. I even made a little tassel for it. I just need to sew that together. That's it. That's all I need to do. I even have the thread in here to sew it with. So, yeah. That is the story of my life right there. 95% of the way. also have a pumpkin stem in here, which will become relevant shortly, but it's in here so that it doesn't get broken. So let's see if I can get my pumpkin stem back in here without crunching anything. All right, so that's what's in that box. So far I have 3 things that would probably literally take me an hour to finish. The next thing that I have is this piece. But Michelle, why is this in a project bag? Well, I'll tell you. So this is a piece by Carriage House Samplings, back when it was Kathy Barrick, and she did a whole alphabet series. And this piece, I have a one of those paper mache boxes, you know, like Blackbird uses a lot. I have one of those that I keep all of my sewing thread in, like, you know, stuff for mending, stuff for my sewing machine, whatever. All my threads go in this box. And so my intention was I would stitch this and put it on the top of the box and then paint the box. And then it would be pretty and I could have it out somewhere rather than it just, you know, being a blah brown paper mache box. So I stitched this and I have yet to do anything with it. So that's first on the agenda. But the reason that it's in here is because I'm also going to stitch needle, and then I was going to, you know, create some sort of something to hold all of my needles, sewing needles, quilting needles, stitching needles, finishing needles, everything. We're gonna go in something with this on it. So I intended to stitch it on the same piece of fabric. But in the meantime, I could actually do something with this, like, I don't know, finish it and put it on that box. So the quandary that I had, and I think the reason that it's still sitting here is because this piece is rectangular and the opening for the box is oval. So I was thinking I might just, you know, get some matching quilting fabric and, you know, sew strips on the sides, put that in the oval piece so that you would see the oval, but it would have fabric around it to give it a little bit of interest. That was kind of what I was thinking. So maybe I'll just do that and be done with it. But I do have needle kitted up and ready to go. And it has been in that status for quite some time. So I'm gonna say that those pieces right there are my priority pieces that I need to get FFO'd. Here's the rest of it. It's a sad, sad state of affairs. So I'm just gonna start pulling stuff out. And it will be a surprise for both of us. Now, I do have some things in here that are just like this is just quilt batting. So it's for finishing things in this bag. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, I have this Jeanette Douglas piece that I stitched and it is supposed to be a pin cushion, but I need supplies to finish this. So it's supposed to be finished with wool on the bottom, and then a big button on the bottom and the top, and then you section it off with thread. So I need supplies for this. So this is obviously a lower priority. And then I have the finishing stuff for, I don't know where the piece is. We'll dig further. Yeah, because it's not in here. Oh. These are my blackbird stockings that I have stitched. Now, it would probably be smart of me to, finish the ones that I have done. But there's also a part of me that's like, well, I'll just wait until I finish stitching the rest of them. But I don't remember the name of all of these, but I think this was in the February book maybe. And then there's another one. And so I was able to buy, because they did these on all different fabrics. And so I kind of bought a piece that was big enough that I could do 2 on it. This was from the January booklet. I think this is from the March booklet. Here's the birthday one. This is from the February booklet. So those are the ones that I have stitched. And I have several more kitted up, but haven't started on the next bunch of them. All right. This is a class that I took 8 million years ago from Jane Timmers to make this set. And at the time that we made this, I didn't have the ribbons that I needed to finish some of the little pieces. Like the needle book has a ribbon on it. I think this Biscornu has a ribbon on it. I think that scissor fob has a ribbon on it. So I had to order the ribbon. Well, I got the ribbon and then never went back and finished those pieces. Like they're all assembled, they just need the ribbon on them. So, and also this piece right here, I have the fabric and the threads to stitch it, but she also gave us a color copy of hers, and that's what's in my thing. And so I'm kind of like, well, do I need to stitch the thing and then make a color copy of my own? So I don't know that I'm going to do that. But I do need to put the ribbons on those deals. Oh, here's my pieces that I was looking for. So I showed you my crown bird sampler last time. And as part of that workshop, we also got some other little smalls to do. And one of them is a little strawberry, which I stitched. And then a second strawberry, and this one was called the Crown Suitor. and now they just need to be finished into strawberries. And so I have all the stuff to do them with. I just need to actually finish them into strawberries. So, yeah. That probably wouldn't take long to do. Okay. This is a piece from Scarlet House. Called Coverlet Berry Scissor Tray. And so here's the piece. And I stitched it on the called for straw flower 40 count. Is that like sign? Oh, anyway, with the called for threads. And then it's supposed to be finished in this little tray that I think came from Hobby Lobby. And then there's a wool strawberry that goes with it. I do not have the wool for the strawberry, so there's that. But I found the tray at Hobby Lobby and it was on sale for $1.25, so I picked it up. Unfortunately, this is the wrong size. I think it needs to be the smaller tray because you can see that this is ginormous compared to my piece. But what I thought I could do is maybe when I get, like when I order the wool for the strawberry, maybe I can order extra wool and then I can just, you know, cover the whole bottom and then, you know, put this kind of on top. Maybe that's sort of my plan, because otherwise I just think it's gonna look like it's floating in there. So, and then I think you just take this part off and make it a little tray for your scissors, and you know, have this in there and your little strawberry and what have you. So that's the plan, but I need to order the wool for that. And there's the templates for the berry. Oh, here's my ribbon for that Madeira piece that I just showed you. Okay. When I was learning how to do foundation paper piecing, I did this little tiny quilt thing, and it needs to be quilted. The cat needs a little face, and so I have fabric that I thought I could use for backing fabric and binding. But then the other day I was thinking, you know, maybe I should make this into a project bag rather than a little mini quilt. Kind of like Olivia B has done, you know, with some of her project bags where she has done, you know, quilting on it. But look at all those tiny little pieces that I did. So I think it's really cute, but it's, you know, I don't know that it's something that I would like hang up as a quilt. So I thought maybe turn it into a project bag. Oh, let me know what you think. this is finishing stuff for a piece I have not stitched, so that doesn't count. Okay, so years ago, the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild did a stitch along on this freebie from Maryland Farm, and I stitched it on, I think this is 40 count tin roof. Don't get this, it's terrible to stitch on, but love the color, but it's terrible to stitch on. So anyway, so I stitched mine and I changed the verse because I didn't like the verse at the bottom. I changed mine to a Dumbledore quote that says, "Words are our most inexhaustible source of magic," which I loved. So this needs to be finished, and one of our members did these horn books, basically, that you could finish your piece on. So I just need to finish my piece on it. And I haven't decided if I want to put trim on it or not. I'm leaning towards not, but so this is another one that really would not take long to finish, and then all of this crap would be out of my bag. This is more finishing supplies. My cat's on the move. More finishing supplies. Ah, yes. The pumpkin. So Brenda Gervais had a pattern for making these pumpkins, these white pumpkins, out of fabric, and it's basically just 2 circles that you sew together and then fill with walnut shells, which I have done that part, and then stop eating that, stop eating that, stop eating that. And then what you were supposed to do is take thread and section this so that it looks like a pumpkin, and then put your dried pumpkin stem, glue your dried pumpkin stem on the top of it. This has literally been in progress for I don't know how long, and it was actually like all the supplies for this were gifted to me. Again, like she had cut the fabric out in a circle, you know, done the interfacing. Here's your bag of walnut shells. Here is your thread to do this. All I had to do was find the pumpkin stem, which I did obviously, and put it together. And like, I can't seem to manage to, you know. So this is another one that would be super quick to finish and get off my plate and get it out of this bag. Finishing supplies. Finishing supplies. Okay, so that's it. So it's actually less than I thought it was. There's just a whole lot of crap in here. So, yeah, so that is, those are the things that I need to finish. FFO. And it's really not that much. So what the hell? Yeah. Okay. So I think 1, 2, the Angel of Tulips is 3. 4, 5. I think there are 5 things here that I could finish relatively quickly and be done with them. And then I can move on to the next ones, which some will require me, you know, ordering some stuff, but that shouldn't be too terrible. So I think that's the plan. I think that's the plan. Because really, I think if I ordered some, you know, some wool for that Jeanette Douglas piece and the Tanya piece, then that would be 2 more things done. Yeah, okay. I think that's planned. And honestly, I think that this feels a little more, oh, and my thread piece. I think I could probably finish that one quickly, but the next part is I need to like find fabric to do that with, but that one shouldn't take too long. But yeah, I think this feels a little more achievable than my framing situation, honestly, because I think the framing situation is going to be expensive and it's going to take some time. But these things, I think I could immediately get a few things off of my plate and finished without, you know, too much hubbub. So and then there's other things that, you know, would probably take a little bit longer, but if I could get, you know, 5 or 6 things out of here, that would be fab. Super fab. Okay. So, those are my FFOs. So let's talk about books, and then I think that's it. So, when last I left you, I was reading The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Fabulous. Absolutely love it. I loved it so much that when I got ready to read the next book in the series, Hellbent, which is what was just released, and so that's kind of what started this reading frenzy of this series, I went ahead and just ordered the hardback because I was like, this is good. I want this in my library. I will reread this. And so I am at some point going to go back and buy the hard copy of Ninth House because I just checked that out of the library. But I did buy the hardback of Hellbent, and I was suckered in to buy the Barnes & Noble special edition because it has the red cover. The normal release has a gray cover, but I really liked the red. So, and then on the inside, it's got the red also. So, love that so much. And here's the other half of that. So, yeah, so if you have not read The Ninth House, I highly recommend it. Really, really good. Dark academia, paranormal, so good. So, I read Ninth House, read Hellbent, And then I have gone back to my Fever series by Karen Marie Moning. I read Burned, which was the next one in the series, and I checked that out of the library. But then I decided, all right, I'm gonna get back to purchasing my hardbacks because I want the whole series in hardback. So I went ahead and ordered the next two from Half Price Books. I'm taking a risk that I won't get one with somebody's name on it on the side of it again, but the first of them arrived today and it is in good shape. So this is Feverborn, and so this is the one that I am reading currently, and I think this is book 8, maybe 7 or 8. So love this series. If you haven't read it, highly recommend. And also paranormal romance. So really good. I'm reading that with a couple of friends, and they're well past me because I stopped to read Ninth House and Hellbent, but that's okay. So yeah, so that's all that I have for today. But thank you so much for joining me and for checking in to see how things are going, what I'm up to, all that good stuff. And thanks again for your wonderful feedback on kind of the new format of my videos. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you're appreciating them. And again, I do have a separate Instagram account where I talk about, books and food and, what have you. So anything sort of non-crafting related. And that is Invoking Beauty. So if you're interested in following me over there, I would love that. And then for all of the crafty stuff, stitching, etc., that is still on my Cozyegg Instagram. And I am working on getting my show notes updated, so that should be coming soon on the blog. And I will finally be caught up. Maybe, sort of. But anyway, so those are my FFO plans, and I'm just going to continue on with Jane Ann and trying to get that model stitched, and we'll continue on with Dark 13 stitching when it comes up. So yeah, that's it for me. So happy stitching, everyone, and thanks so much for checking in. And if you feel so inclined to leave a comment or subscribe, it is much appreciated. All right, happy stitching.